Welcome to day 3 of our 5-day confidence series. I am so excited for you to join me here on the mat for a nice, gentle, but energizing flow that will boost your confidence and help you just really make that connection to your body and how amazing it is and what it can do for you. So grab me a couple of blocks, making sure you have some water and just a nice space for yourself. And just sitting in a nice, easy position, you can lift your hips up on a blanket or a block even, and just starting your practice by arriving, just leaving whatever you need to leave off the mat. It will be there when you come back, I promise. But maybe it won't be as kind of overwhelming as it is now, or take up as much of your energy. So just finding a connection to your breath, noticing it coming in and out of your body, in through the nose, and then letting it out with a gentle sigh. And just arriving here, feeling the earth beneath you, feeling supported, feeling just grateful that you've taken this time for yourself. Setting an intention for your practice here. Whatever comes to your mind, whatever you are striving for or looking to release, what is standing in the way of you finding your most confident, authentic self? Is it something you need to move towards? Is it something you need to let go? Whatever it is, just make that your intention. Take your next breath. Really, really settling into that intention. And moving to our hands and knees here. You can move that block or blanket out of the way if you had one. And keep it close by if you want it for the end of practice. And just finding yourself on hands and knees here, hands directly under your shoulders, knees directly underneath your hips. Finding that nice neutral spine first, and then inhaling, looking up, dropping that belly, finding a little space in your spine, and then pushing away, exhaling, rounding your back like a scared Halloween cat. Just moving with the breath a few times here. Inhale, finding some fluidity in the movement. This is always your practice. Whatever I recommend is just that. My main goal for you is to find some quiet and find some connection and appreciation for yourself, whatever pose you happen to find that in. Just move maybe through one more time here, one more cycle. And then finding a neutral spine here and moving that left hand more towards the center just a little bit, lifting that right hand up and inhaling nice and big, opening up through that chest. And then we're going to thread the needle. So slipping it underneath your left arm, letting your head fall to the mat, bringing that left hand out in front of you if that's comfortable. Keeping those hips nice and high, not collapsing into your belly. And just breathe, feeling that stretch across your shoulder, across your back. Just using these initial moves to just make that connection. Release whatever you don't need to worry about right now. And on the next inhale, bringing that left hand back just to help you up. Bringing that right hand back around. And then putting it down right in the middle. And doing the same on the other side. So lifting all the way up with that left arm. And then threading it through. Just stretching, finding and noticing, just awareness. So yoga is so much just about a curiosity. Curiosity, appreciation. Where are you at? How does your body feel? I don't think we take enough time to really check into those things. We just keep going until we fall, until we hit a wall, right? Then our body says, hey, hello. And bringing that hand back, opening up again through that left arm and bringing it back down. Moving your hands just a little bit in front of you. We're going to find our way into downward facing dog. So tucking the toes, lifting our hips towards where the ceiling meets the wall, and just setting up here, nice long spine, not locking out the knees, keeping a nice bend. You can kind of walk your dog here back and forth, not forcing your heels down to the mat. That's not the goal. Letting your head be nice and heavy. And then lifting that left leg up on a nice inhale. You can open the hip up if you like. Finding a little space. And then exhaling it between your hands. Shifting your feet so that there's some space between them and they are like more on train tracks than a tightrope. And then letting that back knee drop here. So you can keep your toes tucked or not, whatever's more comfortable for you. Just coming up to a long spine. You can place your hands on your knee and just really noticing that stretch across the front of your leg. This is a perfect place to be. If you feel like you want to lift your arms up, feel free to do so. I'm just taking a few deep breaths. We sit so much in this front of our leg here, just really, really gets so tight. And that is the front of that hip flexor. That's connecting your low back to your hip and can cause all sorts of back pain. If it gets really tight, it starts to pull. So just want to open it up and give it some love. And then exhale, dropping the hands here. Stepping back just for a quick second. Lifting that right leg up. Putting the hip and bringing that forward. Making space and finding the same low lunge on the other side. Noticing if one side is more tight than the other. And then if you want, lifting the arms up, noticing it will kind of shift your balance a little bit. Feeling the sensations in your body and appreciating them. While we have a body that we can work with and move and make stronger, we are so blessed. And bringing those hands down, finding downward dog one more time. Walking it out, finding that left leg again, and again, coming forward this time, pivoting that back foot and having the arch of the left heel intersect with the left heel intersect with the arch of the right foot, really anchoring through your lower body and then coming up through warrior two. So here, this is a very strong pose. Nice even distribution, one side, front and back. And your pelvis, just kind of notice it. You don't want to stick your butt out. You don't want to tuck your pelvis too far forward. Envision your pelvis as a bowl. It has water in it, and you don't want to tip it over. So just finding a little bit of a neutral pelvis here. That knee, want to make sure it's not buckling in. So really consciously shooting that knee towards that pinky toe, and then finding, so you always want to set it up from the bottom up, opening up your arms here nice and straight, nice and strong. You'll feel your shoulders, your legs. So yoga being such a balance of effort and ease. Can you find ease in each pose, even though it may be challenging? This is life. Some days are challenging, and if we can test that ability on the controlled space of our mat, then we bring that to our lives. And go ahead, turning the front hand over, just finding a peaceful warrior here. So legs stay the same. Let that back hand run down your leg, lifting your arm up, nice long line. Looking over your shoulder, peaceful warrior. So still so strong, but graceful. And coming back through warrior two, taking both feet forward, facing the front of the mat, and then just turning to the other side. So noting that same placement, heel to arch, and then setting up here. Nice neutral pelvis, everything is strong and stable, no strain on your back. Noting that knee, track it over towards your toe, big baby toe, and just finding that strong yet graceful warrior. Breathing through the effort, finding your center. When we're tested, it's when we really need that strong sense of who we are. Keep us grounded. Flipping that front hand, finding your peaceful warrior on the other side. You can look up or over your shoulder. And coming back through warrior two, turning those feet forward. You can kind of bring them however is comfortable, nice and wide. Maybe point your toes in a little bit. We're going to hinge from the hips and just finding a nice wide-legged forward fold here. So your hands can come down. You can utilize blocks. Just making sure your knees are not locked and that movement is coming from your hips. So you could even stack up a couple of blocks here and find that nice grounding through your forehead. Just stretching those legs that just worked. Anytime we find that connection with our forehead, our third eye, we just find such grounding and centering. That is our intuition that we need to always nurture and pay attention to. It really is there to protect us from bad decisions and help guide us toward decisions we may be too afraid to take, but are so in our best interest. So Listen to that and nurture it. One more breath here. And just kind of finding a little more of a bend in your knees before you kind of nice and easily come up, rolling the shoulders back, heel toe those feet together, and come to the front of your mat. We're going to move through a couple of rounds of sun salutations and a few additional strength poses before we come back down to the mat. So in sun salutation here, nice and hip distance apart, your feet hip distance apart, just really rooting through the mat, always finding your rootedness through your feet and coming up here nice and tall. Go ahead and lifting your arms up to the sky, big deep breath, and then hinging from the hips, little bend in your knees here, forward fold. Exhale. Inhaling, straightening your legs, not locking them, and finding some length in your spine. And then exhale as you step back with the right foot, step back with the left. And for this first one, go ahead and drop your knees, hug your arms to your sides, and shoot your elbows back as you gently glide yourself down to the floor. Untuck those toes, hands right next to your shoulders, and just inhale into a slight back bend, a baby cobra. Dropping those shoulders away from the ears, feeling that low back engage. And then exhale, coming through tabletop and down dog. Go ahead and walk that out for a breath or two. Inhale, look between your hands, walking forward. Nice flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Feeling your shift, feeling your energy, feeling your strength and confidence grow. Feeling yourself just standing maybe a bit taller, a bit more sure of who you are. Inhale, arms all the way up. We'll run through that one more time. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, stepping back, right then left. Feel free to go to your knees or hug those arms in and gently and strongly lower all the way down, chaturanga. You can do upward dog if that is in your practice. Otherwise, finding that cobra again. And exhale, up through tabletop and down dog. Notice if your body feels more open, more spacious. A little looser, working through some of those bricks. And then looking between your hands, stepping forward, forward fold, just letting everything release here. Now we're going to move into chair pose. So from here, keeping that slight bend in your knees, feet are hip width apart. Go ahead and take your fingers, drape them down by your sides, and then just sit back before you even move. So setting this up, heels in, weight into your heels. And graze your fingers across and just, lift into a chair pose. So nice, strong legs. arms up, or you can bring them to prayer position, but nice and strong in your legs, and really almost like you can lift your toes up off the mat. You don't want to put all your weight forward. Really sit back in that chair. We'll just take a couple more breaths here. And then exhale, forward fold. Nice. Beautiful. So strong. And just moving, walking those legs out. My poor little plant here has only one leg missing. Just really feeling that length in your spine. Maybe you hold both elbows and just really feel the back of your legs, your back open. And then finding nice rootedness in your feet and come all the way up. And hands to heart center. Beautiful. So we're just going to do one last pose here. We're going to do a tree pose. So with tree pose, we're just going to be balancing on one foot then the other. So finding the thing with tree is you want to find a focal point that's not moving, where you can hold your gaze. That will keep you from wobbling. And then you're going to put all your weight into one leg. Here I have my right leg, and just sort of kickstand that left foot. So this is tree pose. You can do it just like this, and you'll already feel that right leg, that right ankle start to work and wobble to keep you from tipping over. So I recently sprained my ankle about a month ago, and that ankle is still a little shaky. So I am going to not go too far here. I'm going to just find my calf with my other foot and just gently you're pushing your calf into your foot and your foot into your calf just for stability, finding that focal point. You can bring it all the way up to your thigh if you like, but just avoid your knee. You don't want to put any pressure on your joints. I found that the older I get, the less my ego tells me to do something just because someone over here or over there or the teacher is doing it. So you just listen to yourself. You can lift your arms up, grow your branches, feeling your core engage. One more breath here. And back down, shake that out. And we'll repeat that on the other side. So finding your stability on the standing leg and finding your focal point, and then deciding where you are going with your foot. Engaging your core, rooting through your tree into the ground, your roots. Again, your values, what matters to you? What will you not tolerate? Bring your attention back to that intention. What are you working towards? What are you letting go of? And don't let anything shake you. Hands back down and release. Beautiful. So bringing it all the way down to the mat here. We're going to do some seated positions and just cool it all down. Bring ourselves to a nice, relaxed state. So bringing both legs in front of you, really growing through the spine into a seated forward fold here. And once you are ready, again, this does not matter how far you go. You want to move from the hips, not your back. So go ahead and inch your fingers forward, keeping your spine nice and long. If you are able to grab your toes, go ahead. If not, no big deal. You can also get a strap and really keep that spine nice and long as you engage into this pose without compromising your back. Otherwise, you can just place your hands on your shins, but just feeling that nice stretch behind your legs. For a few breaths here. And come up, making your way down to your back. We're going to just place our feet flat on the floor here. Make sure your back is nice and connected with the mat, and just taking your left ankle and just draping it over your right knee. And you might just stay just like that, or you can lift your right leg, thread your hands through behind your right thigh into a nice supine figure 4 here. Keeping that back nice and flat, flexing your feet, protecting your knees, really moving that left knee away from you. So your right leg is coming forward and your left leg is kind of going away to really get the nice stretch there. And one more breath. And let both feet come to the mat. And we'll do that on the other side. So right ankle, left knee. Really focus on that right knee kind of moving away from you. And again, this might be it. You can let your left arm fall away and just push, or you can lift that left leg up. Always making sure that you have that low back nice and anchored to the floor. Flexing those feet. Noticing how that intensifies the stretch a little bit. And letting both feet come to the floor. Now we just want to take our arms out to the sides here. And we're going to take both knees up and give them a hug. And just actually go ahead and take your left hand right over your right knee here. Bring that right arm out and just try to keep your spine nice and straight and let your knees fall over to the left. You'll feel a beautiful stretch here in your back. Might feel a few cracks, opening everything up. You can take a glance over your right hand or look straight ahead. Close your eyes. And just feel your nervous system, everything just settle. And bring your knees up to center. Give a hug here. And go ahead and bring your knees over to the right. Bringing your arm out to the left if you like. Breathing. Being so proud of yourself. This is a practice you can come back to. Maybe once or twice a week, like I said, around your other exercise, strength training, walking, or if right now this is all you want and all you need, still is moving your body, engaging your muscles, connecting with mindfulness. Don't ever feel overwhelmed with all of the things you think you need to do. Just pick one thing and show up, keeping the promise you made to yourself. And bring that back. Give those legs one last hug here. Now we're just going to find our final Shavasana. So letting the legs come out to the edges of our mat. Try not to kick everything over. And just finding nice, relaxed final pose here, letting everything just melt into the mat. Your hands, you can place them by your sides. You can place them over your belly, one hand over your belly, one hand over your heart. Just feeling that sense of aliveness, connection, appreciation with your body. Sometimes we realize that we have just not been connecting with ourselves and giving so much to everyone else. So vital to just come back to home base and nurture yourself, your heart, soul, your mind, your body. It will thank you. And taking as long as you need and as long as you have in this Shavasana. If you have time, stay 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever you need. And if you are ready to come back, you can roll over to one side and then gently bring yourself back to a seated position. Noticing how you feel, noticing if there's a sense of ease, centered, grounded feeling that you have brought to yourself. With this practice, I invite you to come back to it time and time again. Continue to honor yourself, your body, your spirit, your mind. You are worth it. Hands to your heart, honoring yourself, and I honor you and thank you so much for sharing your practice with me.